It is with great pleasure Indian Institute of Scientific Heritage is introducing you about Indian scientific and cultural heritage. In this cassette, we are introducing you the oldest literature of the mankind, which is Rig Veda. The Veda, written thousands of years ago, it is intact even now. As such, it is being recited world over. Lot of studies have been carried out on understanding when the Rig Veda might have written. One of the most authentic reports comes from the historical conference held in Scotland. When the historical conference held in Scotland, when the historians searched throughout the Rig Veda, they could find out one line in that which says that Brahaspati Pradamam Jayamanam Tishyam Nakshatram Abhisambhavuva. The Brahaspati, Jupiter planet, which when crossed the Tishya Nakshatra, Tishya star, it appeared as though the Tishya Nakshatra is newly born. And when the astronomers back calculated when this would have occurred, they found that this occulting might have occurred around 4275 plus or minus 75 BC. This particular stanza which I recited is from the 10th mandala of Rig Veda, which is very well known that it is written far after the first, second and third mandala of Rig Veda. The 10th mandala has got modern Sanskrit in it, whereas the first, second and other mandalas have got Vedic Sanskrit, which is known as older Sanskrit. And based on these calculations made on the occulting of the Jupiter and the star, it can be concluded that the last part of Rig Veda might have written about 6,300 years back. When you go to the first part of Rig Veda, which starts from Apnimile Purohitam Yajnasya Devam Ratwijam Odaram Ratnadatamam, actually it might have been written about 1,000 years. That's about 5000 BC. Then the Vedic Sanskrit might have had its origin about 1000 more years back, 6000 BC. Then the letters, 7000 BC. And these Vedic thoughts might have got its birth around 8000 BC. The most interesting coincidence is that the archaeological evidence is collected from Bhagwanpura, Kalibagan and Mehergarh of North India. The metallic alloys obtained from there when subjected to carbon dating technique was found that there was a civilization during 7800 BC. The archaeological evidences of the civilization and the Rig Vedic thoughts evolution, they coincide each other, which tells that the Sanatana Dharma which is existing in India now has got a 10,000 years of written scientific history to claim for. And from then onwards, this Chirapuradana and Nitya Nutana Dharma of Bharat is prevailing. One of the, perhaps the only civilization, only culture in the world, in the globe earth, which still stands undisturbed and unperturbed and unmodified, accepting all the thoughts as Rig Veda used to tell, Anu Bhadra Kratavo Yantu Vishwadaha. Let noble thoughts come from all sides. This Rig Veda is said to have 25 recensions. In Sanskrit we say 25 shakhas. Of these, 5 shakhas are available now, 5 recensions are available now, which are Shakala Shakha, Ashkala Shakha, Ashwalayana Shakha, Shankhayana Shakha and Mandukeya Shakha. If we are searching what the real Rig Veda is, we should know at least the structure of Rig Veda. On the other side of this cassette, you will be hearing how Rig Veda is to be chanted, how it is to be recited. Rig Veda has to have the Shruti for it, the beautiful methodical way of reciting the verses, which is there right from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, from the other end of Gujarat to Tripura, the eastern end of India. You can see that Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda and Atharva Veda are chanted exactly in the same way. And Rig Veda is one of the biggest Vedas. It has got 3,97,265 letters. This number of letters in the Shakala Shaka. In other shakas, in other recensions, there can be a bit difference. But these letters are compiled to make 1,93,816 words. These words are put in 10,552 rigs or stanzas. The Rig Veda is called Rig Veda because it is brought from the rigs, which are nothing but the stanzas, the lines. And all these lines are compiled together in 2024 classes or vargas. And all these classes and vargas are put in 64 chapters. So one can see that oldest human cultural book, Rig Veda, has got the verses very systematically arranged in 64 adhyayas or chapters. 8 chapters together are known as Ashtaka. And in Rig Veda, we have got 8 Ashtakas. That is 8 into 8 is equal to 64. In Rig Veda, it is not really a spiritual book. It gives the information, historical, cultural, anthropological, sociological, scientific, and a variety of other type of informations in all these stanzas. Rig Veda is not written as a continuous explanation of something. It is the adoration of the natural forces and human relations, human bindings, thoughts, mind, philosophy, and so on. In fact, every line of Rig Veda can have generally 3 types of meaning. The first meaning is called Adi Bhautikam, the physical meaning. Just like we say when we worship God, it is meant for something which is available from Him. We would like to get something from Him, so we pray for that. Just like, give me that, give me this. Please make me successful in the examination, so I praise you, Lord. Just like that, Adi Bhautikam, the common physical meaning is there. The second meaning is Adi Daivatam. It is so much interesting to know that the Vedic people, thousands of years back, looked the nature as the self-aware, self-conscious nature. Every aspect of the nature, just like the rising of sun, setting of sun, the rising of moon, the dawn, the morning, the peak of the sun, the noon, and the blowing of wind, the lightning, the thunder, everything activated their thoughts. They know pretty well that even though these are all highly scientific physical phenomenon, something else is controlling all these. They consider Vishwadas Chakshuruda Vishwado Omukho Vishwado Bahuruda Vishwadaspad Tam Bahupyam Damadis Sampadatrayar Yava Pradivi Janayan Devayikaha. This universe controlled by a universal person, Vishwapurusha, having hands and brain and eyes and feet, which can reach anywhere in the universe. Try to understand that universal person. That is what The Rig Veda gives you the message. And every aspect of this Prapancha Purusha, universal person, is adored. Mainly because it has got consciousness, it has got awareness. Just like Professor Dr. Amit Goswami in his book written The Self-Aware Universe, Creation of Material from Consciousness, it is exactly what the Rig Veda tells you. The most modern physics. And that part of the universe we are explaining and we are worshipping in Rig Veda. And there is the third meaning which is called Adhyatmikam, which is purely spiritual. For the same sentence, for the same stanza, you can have three meanings of the third one is spiritual meaning, where you consider yourself, you consider the others, you consider every living being in this universe and also the non-living being in this universe as the container of the universal power. That is why we say Prajnanam Brahma, knowledge is divine. Aham Brahmasmi, what this body is nothing but the container of the universal power, Atma. So in Rig Veda you can have Adhyatmika, the spiritual meaning also. And now coming to the composition, who has written Rig Veda? Once you go through the Rig Vedic Sanskrit book, you can understand that every sukta, every varga has been starting it. The name of the Rishi, the name of the saint who has written that. Gadino Vishwamitra Rishi, Devi Gayatri Chanda, Mitro Devata. These three words are used to tell you that Gadino Vishwamitra is the Rishi which has composed this, and this has got 24 words in that one, so it is Gayatri Chandas. And the Devata, the deity worshipped in this particular Anuvaka, in this particular Sukta is the sun. So, like this, when you go through every line, you can see that those lines are written by special, powerful, highly spiritual and divine rishis. You can see nearly 200 rishis have composed these 2024 vargas or 10,552 verses of Rig Veda. And when you go to the method in which it is to be chanted, it is not just like chilling or chanting a poem. It is not like reciting a poem. It has got ups, downs, extensions, vibrations, and so on. These are called Shrutis. You can see in Rig Veda, Swaritam, Pracheyam, Anunasika, Kambam, Dirghakambam, Udattam, Anudattam, and so on type of vibrations are available. Using this, they chant Rig Veda. Apso me somo apravi yadandar vishvani veshajaha akninja vishva shambhuvam apashta vishva veshaji apapranita veshajabvarudam tan mama yokja suryam drashe. These are the words arrangement in Rig Veda. Like this, you can see that the 1,93,816 words have got a particular way of chanting in it. And without these Shrutis, without this way of presentation, Rig Veda does not have much impact, influence, and aesthetic beauty. Without these Shrutis, Rig Veda is just like any other book, even though it is written by the rishis. And in fact, what the Rig Veda gives the message, when you go from the first line to the last line and go on understanding the meaning of every word, one thing will be very clear. There is a story in which it is told that the students, after learning Rig Veda, went to Yajnavalkya Maharshi and asked what is the real message of Rig Veda. Yajnavalkya Rishi told the students that the message of Rig Veda is nothing but Prajnanam Brahma. Knowledge is divine. The exact name of the God is nothing but knowledge. Knowledge is not only power, but it is divine. So, acquire knowledge. Learn everything, whatever is available in the universe. Go ahead with that knowledge. So, the real message of Rig Veda is knowledge is divine. And in this Rig Veda, there is Vedic literature associated with that. The Vedic literature is the Veda, the Brahmana, the Aranyaka, and the Upanishads. These four classes of literatures together is called Vedic literature. So the Rig Veda, the people who follow this Veda has to perform their customs and rituals based on the Brahmana written by Aitareya. It is known as Aitareya Brahmanam, or the Brahmana in which Sankhyayana Rishi has explained the customs and rituals, Sankhyayana Brahmana, or Kaushitaki Rishi has explained the customs and ritual, Kaushitaki Brahmana. So the Brahmanas, which are composed of prose, explains how every custom and a ritual to be performed in the family, in the country, or anywhere else using Rigvedic mantras. And those Brahmanas are very important as the Karma Kanda. Veda is the Jnana Kanda, where knowledge is provided, and Brahmanas are the Karma Kanda for the common man, for the king and the society, how to perform customs and rituals using the Vedic mantras. The most interesting part of this is that the very old Brahmana is Aitareya Brahmana. It is composed of a very low-cost Maharshi. I am using the word low-cost just to inform you that there is a misunderstanding that the Vedas are composed of Brahmanas. Vedas are not composed by Brahmins, but composed by Vedavyasa, who is a fisherman, who was a fisherman. And Aitareya is a Chandala. He was also not a Brahmin. So Aitareya Brahmana, Sankhyayana Brahmana, and Kaushitaki Brahmana are the customs and the ritual focusing textbooks for Rigvedic people. And once you can see that, if somebody is performing based on Rigvedic mantras, the yajnas, the grihastha karmas, the family rituals, or the social rituals like Ashwamedha Yaga, similarly Vajapeya Yaga, Putrakameshti Yaga, and so on, they have to follow the rituals explained in these Brahmanas. And after the Brahmana, you can see the Aranyakas will be coming. This Aranyaka, the most important Aranyaka of Rig Veda is Aitareya Aranyaka. And why it is called Aranyaka? After performing your duties in the family, in the society, after 50 or 55 years, you are expected to go to the forest. Just like Brahmacharyam, Garhastyam, Vanaprastham. After performing all your duties and when your children are grown up, you have to relinquish from the social bondage and slowly pass to the forest. And whatever experience you have gained in your life, you try to accumulate them, write in books, perform social duties, serve the people, serve the knowledge, learn more and teach more. This you are doing in the forest. That is why those books written in Aranyaka, or those customs and rituals which are to be performed by the people who have relinquished from the social bondage and living to the forest, for them, whatever materials are available in the forest, using those materials, they have to perform their daily pujas and rituals and customs. And for them, the explanation is fairly different from the explanations given in the Brahmanas. As I have told you, Aitareya Brahmana, Kaushitaki and Sankhyayana Brahmana gives the explanations when you are living in the society, in the village or in the town with your family members and relatives, whereas in Aranyaka, the customs and rituals when you are living alone in the forest, those customs are explained. And after this Aranyaka comes Upanishad. 10 Upanishads are attributed to Rig Veda, and those are extremely philosophical, scientific, and socially important, psychologically well-versed explanation containing books. Aitareya Upanishad, again written by Mahidasa Aitareya, is one of the most interesting and in-depth explaining textbook of philosophy, where we can see the Vedanta. Among the Vedic literatures, among the Rigvedic literatures, the last part comes the Upanishad. 10 Upanishads, as I told you earlier, are attributed to the Rig Veda. And thus, one can see that the Rig Veda, oldest literature of the human beings, still preserved as such in the globe earth. Very many people are coming forward for understanding what it is. Many scientific people, scientists are searching for that. In fact, some of the lines given in Rig Veda is so much interesting. Amiye saptarasmaya tatrame viradada. The word means where the 7 rays of the sun are falling, there I live with my family. The science is that the sun rays have got 7 colors. As Sir Isaac Newton has told you that the 7 colors are present in the ordinary ray using his disk, whereas about 5,000 years before Sir Isaac Newton, these Rigvedic people knew that 7 colors are there for that. And similarly, when you remember that, Anu Bhadra Kradavo Yantu Vishwadaha, let noble thoughts come from all sides. This tells you that the acceptance of, appreciation of, the mentality to receive knowledge from everywhere that was existing in India 6, 7, or 8,000 years ago. And similarly, now the modern theoretical physics tells you that the universe is self-aware. And Professor Eric Dean and Professor Wolf, they have commented on the book written by Professor Amit Goswami, which tells that the universe is self-aware universe. In India, we have told in Rig Veda that Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapad Sabhumim Vishwato Vritva Atyadishta Dashangulam. This universe has got universal person. Prapancha Purusha has got thousands of head, thousands of eyes, and thousands of hands. It is true that everything which is occurring, which is taking place, which is manifested in the universe has got a well-defined message to carry, a distinct order to follow, an instruction to obey. And that universal person, that awareness, which was very well and clearly explained in Rig Veda, that we can see that it is so much informative and interesting. During the period of Rig Veda, Samratni Bhava Samratni Swasruve Bhava Swasruvan Bhava Samratni Nanamdari Bhava Samratni. When you are bringing the bride to the bridegroom's house after marriage, this message given to this bride is that you will be the queen in my family. You will be the queen for me. You will be the queen for my father-in-law and mother-in-law. You will be the queen for my brothers and sisters. So the status of the women is explained there. Like this, when you are going through every stanza of Rig Veda, you can see that a lot of information, scientific and sociological, are available in every lines explained out of these 3,97,000 letters. And when you are hearing the voice of Rig Veda, the recitation, it is told that neuro-linguistic effect is taking place in the body, nervous system gets activated. And that effect, to hear that, we invite you. And on the other side of this cassette, you can listen the Rig Vedic recitation. Thank you very much.